Alright, for today we're going to be talking about work points, work axes, and work planes. So first off, go to Open, and you're going to navigate to the shared drive, BCHS, Project Lead the Way, IED, Unit 5 Student, and in here you'll have the two different inventor files. We're going to work with the duck. Once that file opens, the two things we're talking about are planes and axes. And we kind of talk about points, but we don't use them at all in this, so I don't know why we have that. First thing we're going to do is learn how to put a new plane on something. So if I wanted to make a sketch on this, I just click plane, I click with my mouse, and it would make a new plane on that surface. Okay. If I wanted to set that plane inside of this surface, I go plane, I'm going to click and drag, so I hold my mouse button down in towards the center, and I think 0.75 is exactly halfway, so I'm going to check it off there. I can also set a plane between edges. If I want something between this edge and this one, I could do that. And all of these things we're doing with the planes, it'd be so we could do some other thing to it. So like this one in the middle, if I wanted to, I could say new sketch, and we can make a rectangle that goes inside of here. When we go to extrude our rectangle, and say it extrudes from both sides some small distance like 0.2. Okay. This way we can have a new support that's inside of our structure and split by a plane. With this one, we could say new sketch, and if I drew some kind of a circle on this, or any kind of shape, it's drawing that at an angle. So when I do go to extrude this, if I said that I wanted it to go to another surface like this one, it would start at that surface and go all the way up to the plane. Okay, let's keep going. So we have a plane that you can put between two edges, a plane that you can put inside of an object. Let's delete some of these planes. And the features that we put on them are going to disappear with it. That's okay. I'm going to go plane, click on this corner, and on this corner. And now, if we wanted to, we could say new sketch on this, and maybe we want to project the geometry. I guess we can't project geometry, but maybe we want to make a 2-point rectangle on this, and we're going to cut. So extrude, cut everything that's above it. Okay, so that little section that we had there is now gone. So if I unchecked visibility, you'd see where the plane was and what we've done to it. This is another one of those things that'd be good for when you get into more complicated stuff. I'm going to delete that back out. Alright, what else did they want you to do? Angle of work plane, we did. Tangent work planes. Okay, so let's say we want to make some kind of a sketch or a feature on this round surface here. If I go to plane and I click on the surface of the cylinder, nothing happens. It's waiting for something else. It says to find the work plane by highlighting and selecting geometry. So if I go to my origin folder, I can pick, in this case, my YZ plane. It's going to make me another plane that's parallel to it, that's tangent to my cylinder. It's just touching at the one point. Okay, and now if I wanted to do something on the edge of the cylinder, I could do that. So I could make a hole, I could extrude a feature, I could add text, I can do all kinds of things. Alright, the other thing we can do is with a work axis. If I click on the cylinder again, you see this little line that shows up that goes all the way through my cylinder. And when I make a plane on an axis and have it referencing, let's say, our XZ plane, then I can change this number here from 90, let's make that 25. And you'll notice this little shape here, it's going to rotate that counterclockwise 25 degrees. Okay, work planes through a cylinder. I think that is just about all that they had for you. The other thing we can do, similar to the axis thing, if we click on an edge, we click on another surface, it wants an angle for that. So I could do like 15 degrees here, and you'll see that's 15 degrees away counterclockwise from the face that I selected. So if I wanted to be 95 instead, you could see what that would look like and come all the way up and over. Or if I want it to be 120, and see it's coming even further down that way. Okay, let's go and delete some of these. And you delete them by going to the very edge where they change color, and you right click, and it should be about 3 down. Last thing I want you to do, we're going to put this plane back in from this edge to this edge, and we're going to offset that work plane. So I'm going to click plane, and from this work plane I'm going to click and drag and check, plane, click, drag, check. So if we look at it from the side, there's 3 different work planes, and let's go ahead and drag one in the middle again too. So there's our 0.75. Let's make a new sketch on here. I'll make a new line from the center of the circle going out away from the duck, and we'll make a new sketch on our closest one as a tiny circle. A new sketch on this one as a much larger circle with about the same center point. Oh, didn't like something. There it goes. And let's just make this not even a circle. Let's make a new sketch on the last plane. If you click the drop down under rectangle, we can change that to a polygon. And sure, you can make a hexagon, you can change that to be an octagon or a triangle or whatever you want. And I think I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, actually. So I'll make it smaller. I'll still have it share about the same midpoint. And if I grab my loft feature, which I don't know if you have loft up here or not, I think sweep is the default. So you go down one. You can click on the shapes you've just made, and maybe the very end of your line point there, and you can make your duck shooting a missile out of its mouth. Okay, but it would loft between those shapes. It went from a small circle to a larger diameter to a hexagon to a single point. Alright, delete your loft, delete the work planes. Actually, don't even worry about saving any of this. So when you go to exit, do not save changes to duck, leave inventor open. You're going to be doing other activities after this.